Now then, and welcome to another edition of Barnsley Biker Video Diaries. It's early, it's still a bit nippy, but sun's just showing its face over the horizon and we're on our way to Stafford. It's the final show, if you like, of the year, the final major show in the custom and classic bike circuit, the Stafford Classic Mechanics Show. So I'm on my way to pick up Aid. It's a couple of hours journey to get there, depending on traffic. So let's get this show on the road.
Alright.
Now then, that's it, we've arrived. Weren't a bad journey, couple of hours or just under. So let's go see what we can see. Crack on. Okay, today, rather than just try and show you everything we see, I'm going to pick out things that are interesting, that I think are worth sharing with you, and spend a little bit more time talking about them possibly. So we're going to go inside, see what we can see, and share anything, as I say, exciting or interesting with you. As I say, I was going to share anything I find interesting with you, and we've just seen this FZ 750 before we get inside. Fairly rare things these days. They were a very, very popular bike back in the day. I think this is an American import one. I can't remember us getting that colour scheme, and it's got the reflectors that usually say it's American import, mile per hour speedo, so yeah, and a lot of bike for £4,000. We did a few of these paint jobs. In fact, I remember selling one to a young lady who didn't think she was getting this colours, and then she turned up and did. But not seen one for a long, in fact I've not seen one since we were selling them in the showroom. Cracking. Looks like Emily and Joe have got their own display area. I've just walked up and seen this. Yeah. Joe's CCM. A proper bike. That's Joe's dad's CCM getting featured in the magazine. And here's Emily's bike that she built. Basically it started life as a 250 Honda CB 250 RS. Heavily modified, now got a 500 motor in it. And of all things, a BSA tank. But that is, Emily did a lot of the work on that herself. If you check out the Works videos on YouTube, Emily did a lot of the work on that bike herself. And I'm tipping this is Joe's Triumph. Cool. Sorry to say, Joe, Emily, this is the bike I would choose off the stand. This is stunning. I'm going to ask whose it is in a second. There you go. Just walking through one of the side rooms where there's a display of Yamaha 2-strokes, but this caught my attention, mainly because you see a lot of Yamaha RD 250, 350 LCE power valves. You don't see many done in the Galois blonde colour scheme these days, and we did see a lot through the showroom. Very much work in progress, but looking like it's got quite a lot of potential there, that Yamaha RD 500. That's what they look like, with all their bodywork taken off. Proper naked. Hey. A lot squeezed in there. Thanks to Aid, I nearly walked past this Benelli, but as he said, that's different, and it is rare to see one of these earlier forward-facing cylinder Benellis. Can't remember seeing one here before. But yes, interesting. And next to the Benelli, we've got a modified Wankel engine Norton. All the plastics removed and more calf racer look to it. That's different and not something you see every day. Sweet. We've just been talking to the owner of this SP2 VTR 1000, and as he says, the last bike that was built by HRC as a road going bike after the RC30 and the RC45, they built these as homologation specials. But he's saying it is a nice bike to ride, commenting on how sweet the gearbox and everything is. But that is a very clean, tidy example. Another iconic colour scheme on a now a proper classic RGV 250 in the Pepsi colours. Now then, we've got the baby RD, little gag bike, done in the same colours as the big RD 500, Mini Me and Big Me. Yes, very nice. Just admiring this little Motobi Pesaro, something new, something different. But next to the Suzuki 500 Twin. Seen a couple of these recently, but that's very much of its era in colour scheme and everything. Again, I said I'd find anything that was interesting or unusual. I have heard of the Kestrel. I can't remember having seen one. And a little mini touring bike with the panniers. That is different. Yeah. There you go, other side. I am informed that Ed thinks this bike's local to his. Belongs to somebody that lives at Penistone. So there you go. This Moriwaki Kawasaki replica with the leathers and everything. So looking at that, it's the later ZRX motor in it. That's cool. There you go. Autograph on the front as well. Phil Reed replica Honda Britain, complete with the Phil Reed replica helmet. Yeah, things that manufacturers had to do to sell old stock bikes, eh? Which is basically what that was. The twin cam engine had come out and they were trying to get rid of some of the single cam engines, so they built these replicas. Desirable these days though. Apparently this little CB50, a bike which back in the day you'd struggle to pull the skin off a rice pudding, has been ridden all the way back from Italy. So hats off to whoever the owner is. But yeah, don't know if you'll pick that up on the camera. I'll try and freeze it and enlarge it, but there you go. Restoring little bikes seems to be a thing these days, and that's a very nice 125 RD Yamaha. A number of these that we sold, literally back in the day, £25 deposit, £9.99, £99 a month. We were selling a dozen a week at one point. But that's very tidy. Again, I said anything that's unusual, different or rare, I'd be looking at. And this Z750, Kawasaki's parallel twin, basically their answer to the Bonneville back in the day. Quite a potent motor, but plagued with mechanical problems, if I remember rightly. So you see very few, and most of them are American imports that have made it to this country. But that's tidy, and it's nice to see. So we've seen the Pepsi RGV, and now the Lucky Stripe colours. Again, a few of those sold in the day, and still cracking bike to ride. If you get hold of one of those in good condition at a decent price, it's worth having. They are cracking bikes. Came back to take another look at this Speed Twin, and it is one of the sprung hub models. Triumph's, if you like, short-term stopgap compromise to put rear suspension on a hard-tailed, rigid production bike. And basically the rear hub has got some form of springing in it. Doesn't give you much travel. Now, there were times when I always lusted after owning a Laverda. They used to be a bit intimidating, being a little bit too big for my small frame. But I could probably handle this one. There you have it. I've just been reading about this in Classic Bike magazine. A Norvin, but unlike most Norvins that use a featherbed frame and a Vincent engine, this one uses a commando frame. Very interesting reading about what the guy did to get that in there. Very tight, but very neatly done, and apparently very nice to ride. Always some interesting stuff to look at on the Two-Stroke Owners Club stand, but this is something I've not seen before. An NSR 250 SP. So basically a road going version of the 250 race bike. So I'm guessing a Japanese import. Just admiring this CBX racer, and the guy that owns it, built it, has just come walking past. He does actually race it. So, is the engine standard size?
No.
What's it at?
It's up to about 1090. It's RSC pistons.
Right. So there, I don't know if you're picking that up on the microphone. Yeah. As I was saying, the engine's been obviously tuned and breathed on, and nearly 1100cc now. And the owner is telling us that it is very loud. I would actually love to hear that running, but that is on the CBX Owners Club stand, something very different. So yeah, there you go. Here's a Booker, Yamaha, Suzuki, proper. Anybody remember the Sega Mega Drive game? Hang On, I think it was called. There you go. There we have it. One of the iconic bikes of the golden years of superbike racing, if you like. The homologation FZR 750R. Is that the OWO1 version? Yes. Again, collection of some of my favourites, air-cooled Suzukis. Although strictly speaking, these are oil-cooled. These Gixxers. But rubbing shoulders with some GS's and a couple of the air-cooled Suzuki two-strokes X7. That one's cheating though, because it's on the air-cooled Suzuki stand and it's got a water-cooled motor in it. But hey, why not? Sweet. As it's the Classic Mechanic Show, we are seeing a lot of specials. And there you've got a GS Thou frame, but with a Gixxer motor, probably a Bandit, squeezed in there. Flat slide carbs. Yeah, the air-cooled Suzuki stand. Right, let's move on. These guys have obviously gone to a lot of effort to get into the 70s vibe on the Kettle Owners Club stand. The Suzuki GT 750 water-cooled triple. Yeah. So we've seen a Norvin, which are fairly common, but now we've just seen this Norcati. Well, basically Ducati L-twin, as they like to call them, squeezed into a Norton frame. Well, it looks like it started life as a featherbed, but been obviously heavily modified. Yeah. Right. A few bits of exotica on display on this stand. When Foggy was in cahoots with Patronus, and he was helping develop this one. A bike that I've never actually seen on the road, but I've seen a few with registration plates and I've seen a few for sale. Rubbing shoulders with another bike associated with Foggy. I've always said I like the 916, but if I had the money I'd be buying an 851. Just something about them. And why did Harley stop making this bike? Somebody tell me. There are a few bikes that I've never come across and never heard of these days, but this is a Pegasus on the National Motorcycle Museum stand. That is something very different, very unusual. So we've just been trying to work out what it is. I thought it looked like it had got a car engine in it, and it's basically based on a Panther frame with an Austin 7 motor in it. Yeah. See, people have been messing around and putting engines in different bikes forever. New one on me, that one. There's a nice lineup of some proper classic racers. Yes. Nice collection. You don't see together very often these days. Okay, on the Italian Motorcycle Owners Club stand, fine turnout of the sort of thing that you'd expect, but this caught my eye. Another Laverda that I could probably handle, but this time in salmon pink. That is a colour you don't see on motorcycles. I will try and find out if it is the standard colour scheme. Try and get in to give you a look at this BSA tracker. Basically Norton Villiers Triumph's attempt to build a small bike to attract the learn illegal rider back in the late 70s. It's their rolling chassis with basically a Yamaha engine put in there, 175 GT 175 motor they use. Now I've stopped and come back to take a second look at this stand. I was going to walk past because basically it's Yamahas, but these are proper early 1960s, I'm guessing. The grey one there I think we saw earlier this year, but this is a very nice collection of some very early, to this country anyway, Yamaha two-strokes. Nice selection of old police bikes, but this one gets the attention I think from me. Don't know if anybody remembers the TV series Chips, but basically that's what these guys were riding in that. A series about the California Highway Patrol. Two guys and their adventures. And they were riding around on these big Kawasaki based police patrol bikes. There we go. Another Jigsaw based turbocharged Total Nutter Barstool Special. Yes. I bet that can scamper. At first glance, this looks like a fairly standard street fighted Jigsaw. When you start to look, and there's very little on it that is standard, including that tank, that tailpiece, that swinging arm, and obviously not the motor. Yeah. Another bike that left the factory is a GS, but now it's got a very tuned, very trick Jigsaw based motor in there. Again, turbocharged. Yes. And then we have something a little bit more of a standard, mildly breathed on. It's got pod filters, so I'm guessing the engine's had a little bit of tuning, but nothing serious. But a good old-fashioned slabby. As you will know watching my videos, I like a slabby. We saw the Moriwaki Kawasaki earlier with the ZRX motor in it, but this is more in line with the original with the Z air-cooled motor in it, as ridden in the day. Nice selection of Guzzies on the Guzzi Owners Club stand. This one's taking pride of place in front of the stand, but up on the balcony. A nice selection along the edge. So look, it's getting busy downstairs. There you go. On the Bandit Owners Club stand, this one just caught my eye. Bit of a different take on a Bandit. Not seen this one before. Not saying it's my cup of tea, but that is different and well worth a mention. This MZ has just caught my attention. This MZ Trophy 250 with the leading link, or whatever you call it, front forks. These were quite usable bikes back in the day. I'm guessing the paint job's not standard, and obviously that's definitely not standard. But yes. Hey, stickman and everything. Knobbly tyres, yes. When one engine's not enough, stick another one on. Hey, MZ twin. I'm guessing that'll make it a 500. Yes, interesting. I said I'd bring you the weird and wonderful and the interesting. That definitely is. Well, you all know I like yellow bikes, and I like something a bit different and a bit special. Well, here we have turbocharged Gixxer engined Alice Magnum in bright yellow. Cracking. Okay, I'm going to share this one with you because this is another one of those bikes that Kawasaki brought out and didn't sell anywhere near as well as you thought it might. Believe it or not, that's an original factory colour scheme, and it uses basically, I think this used the GPZ or the GPX 600 motor. They did it in two colourways, but just didn't take off at the time. Just admiring this Yamaha as ridden by, of the type that was ridden by Kenny Roberts back in the day. Just explaining that pipe work there to make all those exhausts fit, 3 down one side, 1 down the other. Complete work of art. And these were from the era when men were men and boys were scared. And another TZ Yamaha. I'm guessing this one's a little bit earlier. Spoked wheels, twin shock suspension. That's the inline 4 version. I definitely think you'll need earplugs to race this one, because that is the exhaust. And again, back from a similar era to that Kenny Roberts Yamaha, this Harley Racer. Again, you needed to be proper brave to race one of these. Based on their KR, flat track, Sportster, whatever they were, engines. And you see one Harley Racer, and then along comes another, a bit like buses. That's what year is that one?
99.
99. I was going to say that one's a lot later than that one.
Yeah.
And then there's a chap says 99. Is it yours?
It is.
Yeah. I'll just show the chap. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Gavin.
Hi, Gavin.
Hi.
Loving it.
Thank you. Cheers.
Okay, last week we saw Guy Martin's Pikes Peak record attempt bike. This week we've got his Trident that he built. And this is the one that he did the Wall of Death on. Can't remember. But yes. That's there you go. Nice looking thing. Special frame. This Nico Baker framed GS Thou caught my attention as walking past. Proper old school air cooled Suzuki from back in the day, but very much in the style of the big capacity racers of the time. Cracking looking bike. There's a lot of work gone into that, but I bet it's fun to ride. Said I'd bring you the rare and the unusual, and these are fairly rare. I said I've only seen these in magazines, but Motor Guzzi Magni, Australia. That's big old bike actually. Fair old expansive fuel tank. But once again, a fair old selection of bikes going through the auction at Bonham's. I've just found a spot where I can see what's going off right in front of this BSA, which would be, if I was going to have a dabble, be on my list of bikes to bid on. A fair old selection of everything by the looks of it. Old and new, MRTZ, BMWs, police bikes. We spotted a Buell over there, the white bike. Obviously there's a dog making a bid already. So yeah, interesting to see what sort of prices things are fetching. I'll check out after the auction. I usually have a look at how things have done. So we'll have a look and maybe have a talk about it. Now some sidecars look like boats and some sidecars are boats, but yeah, the more we look at it, the more we think it's actually a frame for carrying the boat rather than a sidecar. But yeah, proper interesting. We'll have a look in the catalogue to see what it's actually listed as. Just a quick look at some of the more interesting stuff here. RC30, and then this
So it's going to be
Steve McQueen-esque Triumph. Yeah, very nice that one. That's another one I would be probably having a ticket aside to have a bid on. And there's Ducati there as well in the background. A good selection of bikes across the years up for sale. But for now, that's it. Until next time, remember, I am the Barnsley biker, and I'll see you.